Can I ask officers to please bring forward the second deputation? This is from the Latin American business community in the Elephant and Castle. Thank you very much and welcome. You have 5 minutes to speak.
Thank you, councillors. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We are a group of business people representing the Latin community, the Latin American business community in the area of the Elephant and Castle. La Bodeguita has taken part in the consultation process. However, we understand that other Latin American businesses have not been included in plans to regenerate the area. A number of us in the current shopping centre are concerned because we believe that the upgrade work will force us out with no offer of compensation. We are a very important part of the community with many small and large businesses in the area. We are a vibrant, creative community with much to offer. We do not believe that it's generally known or appreciated how important we are to the commercial life of the area. We strongly believe that our contribution to the economy is of major importance. Research shows that there is a cluster of about 100 Latin American businesses in the area, 15% of which are located in the Elephant and Castle shopping centre, creating employment for no less than 50 people in the shopping centre. This figure does not account for indirect employment, for example, the delivery of goods, provisions of financial and legal services, and production of publicity material. A strong sense of community amongst retailers has fostered diversity in commercial activities, which now range from specific ethnic foods, retail, fashion, to broader legal and financial professional services. The majority of owners, 72%, are of Colombian origin and of relatively young, with 77% born in the 1960s or thereafter. Some businesses have grown to become key employers of the community, such as La Bodeguita, Distri Andina, and La Chatica. But most remain small, family enterprises. Many have joined husband and wife ownerships, and women play a prominent role in enterprises, with an average of 41% of Latin businesses at Elephant and Castle owned by women. The Latin American community has been active in the borough for generations and have fought very hard to present a positive identity for our culture. Now, with the area around the Elephant and Castle, especially in the shopping centre, being redeveloped, we are concerned about our future. It would be a terrible loss for the area if the process of this regeneration, the positive and productive atmosphere created by the Latin businesses, was to be removed. Our deputation of the 27th of November 2013, you promised to create a designated Latin quarter with the excitement, colour, creativity and energy of the Latin culture, where all people of all cultures will be drawn to such an area, establishing a direct Latin character to the development of the elephant regeneration. We would like to receive confirmation that this will actually happen. We are not opposed to the development or regeneration. We have already contributed a great deal to the prosperity of the area, but we are concerned that the redevelopment of the Elephant and Castle will result in a great damage to our businesses. Businesses will be scattered or closed, affecting the income for a large number of families. You have already engaged in our culture by supporting Plaza Latina, the Latin American Food and Craft Market, and others. However, the redevelopment of the Elephant and Castle shopping centre threatens to disperse the cultural community in the Elephant and Castle. If this is not to happen, policy initiatives to retain the community intact are required. The policies which have so far been proposed are not adequate to achieve this. The Land Use Planning Application 16 AP 4458 has been amended after Latin Elephant's objection and following the deputation to South Council's Cabinet meeting on the 9th of May 2017. The planning application now includes the draft local business support and relocation strategy. Despite this, we feel that the document fails to address some of the key concerns raised previously in our objection via Latin Elephant. The strategy does not provide of BAME traders to remain clustered throughout the relocation and in returning to the new development, as evidenced in the reports. The case of London's Latin Quarter,
30 seconds.
Sustainability relocation alternative to traders. In order to realise the Council's promise to create and maintain the Latin Quarter at the Elephant and Castle, we need the following: an assurance that the businesses trading from the railway arches facing the Elephant Road will be protected in the current location, or at worst relocated to other arches in the Elephant Road. 2. Concrete plans for the temporary relocation of the businesses which are currently trading in and around the shopping centre. 3. Concrete plans for their return to the Elephant when development is completed. 4. Financial arrangements.
Your time is now up. Sorry about that. Can I ask, do you have a question to the relevant Cabinet member?
Yes, we would like to know when the Council can give us clarity as to how the cluster of the Latin businesses will remain, also how businesses' rates and businesses' rent will be looked after for the community. And most important, I think, which I've mentioned, is the clustering that was promised so that families and, businesses are not dispersed and scattered throughout other parts of London.
Councillor Williams, would you like to respond to that?
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, and thank you very much to the deputation for coming this evening, but also thank you for all of your hard work and engagement over the past weeks, months and indeed years to make sure that as the redevelopment of the Elephant and Castle continues apace, that it works for existing residents and existing businesses. And I'd like to pay tribute to the contribution, energy and vibrancy that the Latin American community has brought to the Elephant and Castle. It's largely down to your hard work and perseverance that the area is as successful as it is at the moment, and we want to make sure that the regeneration and investment that comes into the area doesn't force you out of the area, but in fact creates new opportunities for your businesses to go from strength to strength, to employ more local residents, to make more money, to be more successful, and to continue to be at the heart of the community at the Elephant and Castle. And in the new Southwark plan, which is later on our agenda, in the area vision that we're going to agree for the Elephant and Castle, there's explicit reference to the Latin American community, and that we want to see you continue in the area. In answer to your very four specific questions, before I answer those, I'd just like to say that obviously this is a live planning application. We're currently considering it very carefully. I'd like to thank you for the deputation in May. Following that, we've got significant progress from Delancey and a much better offer and a much clearer offer, I hope. And when those planning committee papers are published, there'll be much more detail on what the offer is going to be. But as you know, I think we copied into the email earlier from Patria from Latin Elephant that we're going to meet at 8 o'clock on Monday morning, bright and early to start next week, to talk through the 17 points and 17 concerns that you raised earlier today, to try and get as many answers as possible before we do get to planning committee. But in answer to your questions, so the arches on Elephant Road, they belong to Network Rail, not to the council, as you may be aware. Every single meeting I have with Network Rail, whether it's about the Elephant or Peckham or somewhere else in the borough, I raise Elephant Road, I raise those arches, and we have made it crystal clear to them every time we've met that they have to work with the traders, with those businesses, renovate some of the arches, move the traders down to the arches that have been renovated, to keep those businesses on Elephant Road so those businesses don't have to move. Unfortunately, the government is selling all of the Network Rail commercial portfolio, which includes all of those arches. We don't know who's going to buy them, but whoever does buy them will be making the same points to them and making it absolutely clear that the local businesses have to be respected. In terms of temporary relocation, hopefully we can give some clarity now. We understand the importance of clustering, which is why the option for the new retail arcade in the Perinet House garages overlooking the Elephant and Castle is a key part of that. There are also the affordable retail spaces being delivered on Delancey's first phase underneath the student accommodation, which is completing as we speak. And there are also affordable retail spaces in the Lend Lease scheme that are being built at the moment. And one of the recommendations from the Cabinet report in May was that we have a single point of contact and a single list so that they can be offered to local traders affected by the shopping centre redevelopment, so that you get first option on those units. In terms of return for businesses, if this does get consent when it gets to planning committee, it will take about 5 or 6 years to build it out. And at the moment, we're looking at about 10% of the retail space on the LCC site will be affordable, 5% on the shopping centre site, and that will be the option for traders to return will absolutely be there. and also as well making sure that those rents are discounted. The current model is that they're discounted for 5 years and then they step up to full market rate, and with the business support that we're putting in place, the aim is, and with the increased trade, increased footfall, to get the businesses profitable so you can pay market rate, because ultimately it's a trade-off between lower rents for businesses and securing affordable housing, and we need to make sure that we get the right balance there. But I look forward to meeting you on Monday to talk about this in much more detail. Again, I'd like to thank you for coming and for all of the work which members here may not have seen, but it has been a huge amount that you've put in over the past months and years, and look forward to continue working with you.
Thank you. Councillor Williams, you indicated you wanted to ask a question early on. Is that still the case, or shall I move on? Move on, okay. I'm glad you said that. Now, the next one is Councillor Linforth Hall.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Muchísimas gracias por haber venido esta noche a presentar esta deputación tan importante. I'm just thanking them in Spanish for coming here. So, it's nothing occult in here. Which is the prime importance for you? Is it to have a Latin quota or to remain as one in a cluster? What is the most important thing for you?
We ideally would like to remain as a cluster. The businesses around the Elephant and Castle go back, in the shopping centre, go back around 20 years. It's a very, very long time, Councillor. Many businesses, as they have grown in size, they have as a result, as they have grown and attracted more people into the shopping centre, other businesses have gravitated towards the area, and more businesses are growing as a result. Not only that, Councillor, but other businesses are actually opening as we speak right now. So the Latin American community actually keep growing and growing and growing in the Elephant and Castle area. So we would like to be, and we would like to remain clustered as a unit, as we have been for the last 2 decades in the Elephant and Castle area.
Supplementary, please, Mr. Mayor. No? Oh, thank you. Muchas gracias.
Councillor Lura, you want to ask a question?
Yes, please. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you for coming. And I know I met with you and some of your colleagues this morning to talk about some of the concerns that you had. And I obviously followed those up with Councillor Williams, and I'm glad that you're meeting him on Monday morning to talk the concerns through. One of the things that we talked about this morning was the importance of communication between the council and Delancey and the people within the shopping centre. And I guess I wanted to find out from you what more you think that the council and developers could be doing to offer the support and reassurance that you need and that you want around the future of the businesses in the shopping centre.
Thank you. Thank you for having us. One of the points that we raise and we have been raising is, as a traders, we want to be involved in the negotiations that the council is doing with the Delancey in this case. We are feeling that we are being set out of these negotiations. We are not even giving just lately some 4 pages of a relocation strategy, which is very vague, and we are not having any participation on it. So that's the main thing for us, to be participating in every single negotiation. We have given you the trust and the confidence, and we still believe in you, that you are supporting us and you are talking on our behalf. Thanks.
Right, is that it? Thank you very much. Go on, very quickly. Go on.
Williams, and for Councillor Maria Linford. Can I hand them?
You certainly can, yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. If you'd like to... Can I thank you very much for coming? Good show. Thank you. One of the officers will escort you.